Love music. Live sport. Talking football with Bill Young, Hugh Burns and Paul Hegarty on Rock Sport Radio.
It is the final one of the week. Welcome to Talking Football across Central Scotland on DAB, digital radio online at rocksportradio.co.uk via your smartphone if you're using one of those iPhones. You can listen on the TuneIn app. If you're using an Android, that means you can listen on the TuneIn app and the Radiogram app. And if you want to watch the show, go on, do your wave, son. If you want to watch the show... what? What do you say?
You can't clap now, you've got to wave. Did you know that?
How can you not clap?
Well, they're banning clapping down south. Did you not see it?
No. They're banning clapping?
A university down south. You can't clap, they've got to wave.
No, okay. No, everybody's got to get a clap.
The boys will tell you, at your own peril. But you cannot clap, you've got to wave. They did it in Question Time last night. I watched Question Time, it was on Question Time as well last night. I have Question Time parties and everything, so I do.
Oh, dearie me.
Absolutely brilliant last night.
Let me just remind you can watch the show on Facebook, Twitter and Periscope. No.
Would you not expect me to be sitting watching Question Time on Thursday night? Last night it was from London, it was a great panel, it was a good audience.
Listen, I'm constantly amazed by your revelations.
Next week they're at the Holyrood in Edinburgh, live from Holyrood.
Are you going along?
David's invited me. So,
are you sure they've banned you from clapping and they've just not banned the clap?
No, I've taken nothing to do with that ever again. Did you not see it in one of the universities down south that they've banned clapping?
No.
But honestly,
what is the reason for this?
It's something to do. Well, now you're asking me to be too intelligent.
So you didn't actually watch Question Time? It was on.
I did watch Question Time. They've banned it because it's a way of. I think what they were saying it was getting them too excited. It was getting. I don't know what it was. Just Google it. I'll tell you.
I'll watch it on iPlayer when I get in.
Right. Talk about iPlayer and things. Did you watch the programme about the RBS crash the other night?
No, I didn't. Jesus, name of goodness.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Night school, are you studying for an exam or something?
Amazing, isn't it? And I don't
Come on.
I'm telling you, the
RBS crash. It was Question Time.
It was Blaise Duffy who narrated. She did a bit of narrating. Blythe Duff. And
from Taggart.
They were all on about Fred the Shred. It wasn't a bad deal he got at the end up.
Fred Goodwin. Lost his knighthood.
750 grand with his pension. Well, he's taken a cut. I think it's 26 and a bit now, but... Unbelievable. They had no money and they bought a bank in Holland for 71 billion.
I'll tell you a story, and this is... I remember that. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's what they said.
But I'll tell you what also done for them as well. Mm-hmm. I was sitting watching the World Series of baseball, right? Going back maybe 10 years ago, I was in San Francisco and I was watching the World Series on TV. Now, bearing in mind that the World Series is one of the most watched sporting events on American television, after the Super Bowl and the NBA, whatever it is they have for the final, I forget. But here's the thing. In every ad break, the first ad in was for RBS Commercial Banking, your business bank.
Really?
Yeah.
During that, was it? Cool. How much would they paid for that?
Coast to coast in America.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean?
Well, it was a great programme.
Am I surprised that RBS found themselves in the position they were in? No.
You get a chance to watch it. It was brilliant.
That's two on iPlayer I've got to find now. Goodness sake.
So what else was I watching?
Postman Pat?
No, I was. I watch all varied. I watch.
Listen, son, I'm impressed. I've got to say.
Well, you know,
I am impressed.
Well, you know, when you've got nobody nipping your head about the remote control, apart from Finlay.
Hang on. Somebody sent me the link for it. Wait, let me just see what this is.
What thing. For? The clap?
For the clapping. University of Manchester Students' Union bans clapping.
Right.
A student union has ditched clapping, whooping and cheering in favour of jazz hands.
For what reason?
I'm just getting to it. I've reached a minute.
All right.
Reps at the University of Manchester voted to replace noisy appreciation with the British Sign Language BSL equivalent a wave of both hands. Union officer Sarah Khan said traditional clapping can cause issues for students with autism, sensory issues or deafness.
Right. What?
I'm not quite sure how it does with people with deafness. I can understand autism and sensory issues, yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying.
But, you know, to be fair, I just kind of feel that looking at it, and I'm not saying...
I thought you would have seen that.
No.
Seen that?
No, I never saw that one.
Oh, there you go.
Apparently, here we go. Tweets come in thick and fast as soon as you start. Apparently are banning clapping at Parkhead as well after the performance last night. I'm no. I'm sure a Celtic, I'm sure a Celtic fan will have a retort.
Is that Stevie Gerrard on there again? That's unbelievable.
I know a Celtic fan will have a retort or will be blamed for being a Rangers station or the usual stuff. Listen, talking about last night, because Parkhead's been brought up, let's start with Celtic. Disappointing result, 3-1. And I guess the bigger disappointment for Brendan Rodgers will be that every time he has to defend his team, he has to defend it by saying, we defended badly. And they did, all 3 goals last night. Although I have to say, and I'm being absolutely honest, I felt sorry for James Forrest because they were running side by side. There was jostling. He went down. As he went down, he was cutting across the man. And it had to be a penalty. But it's one of those ones where you think, you know, does it have to be red?
Yeah. Got to agree with you, Bill. En route to the game last night, I stopped off a kind of bar diner place in Clarkston, watched the first half hour. Felt a wee bit uncomfortable when Celtic scored because I was the only one that didn't jump up. So swiftly scoffed my chicken wings and made my way to Ibrox. So when the ball hit the back, I've never seen so quiet in my life, you know. And in there was no colours on, and the big Edward scored. The next thing they were all on, I went, all right, Bumsy, sit here, say on, eat your wings and get out of here.
Listen, you've got to say though, you couldn't have wanted a better start if you're Brendan Rodgers.
It was a good goal.
It's a very well taken goal.
Big strong boy, showed that coming in on that side that he'd scored at Ibrox, you know, coming in off the left, opening his cell up and finishing on the right. So
I thought the defender hung off him a bit.
He did a little
bit.
Big South American, big Brazilian lad actually, who come on to a good game. But suddenly, you know, you've mentioned the back four, and you've went with Lustig, and you went with Boyata, Jack Henry, and Kieran Tierney. You know, and
I've decided Jack Henry for me isn't a Celtic quality player.
You know, I think if it had came in on the back of what had been happening in the previous seasons, he would have been maybe learning a wee bit more. Right now, he's coming in at a real topsy-turvy time for
I just think he's very naive. I mean, the first goal with Dabur, he get stuck behind him and he's trying to get in front of him, and the boy just was too strong for him, but he left it till the ball was at the boy's feet before he tried to get in front of him. Shurgin, you've got to anticipate that ball's coming across.
I thought he was going to kick on. He had a great debut for Scotland, played it back one night, and one of their 1-0 away wins, I just can't remember who it was against, but I think it was Hungary maybe, and he was outstanding. I thought he's going to kick on and get better, and I thought if you play a centre-back role for Celtic, you've got to be able to comfortably on the ball, and he is comfortable on the ball, but I think sometimes he tries to overuse it. But Celtic look a team of individuals right now. They look as though they've been given a jersey and they're just going to look after themselves. There's no togetherness with Celtic. They're disjointed. There's big gaps.
Was that exacerbated last night because the captain wasn't there?
Well, you know, I know they played Malumbu and Cham in the middle of the park, but they, you know, the boys tried their very best. But yeah, captain is a man and has done for a while. But again, if you look at Celtic's away record, then would he have made such a big difference with the stats as they show? There's certainly something wrong. I had a really, really good source last night. One of the reporter guys, I'll not mention his name, but he gave us a nod and a wink and mentioned that Brendan Rodgers was very approachable and good to deal with. But I always like to know how was he like, was Gerrard like, was, you know, blah blah blah. He says, you know, Brendan Rodgers will say how it is, and he's very good and he's up front, what have you. But he'd mentioned, you know, there is a job in England available right now, and he's but kind of two and two together, heard a wee nod and a wink, heard this, heard that the chief exec at Aston Villa is the chief exec that Rodgers worked with at Liverpool, and would not be surprised if that happened. I think personally that Brendan Rodgers is bold here now. You know, there was never any chance that Brendan Rodgers was going to stay here and try and win the next 3 league titles. That's eating into his career, Bill. That's eating into his career. There's no chance that Brendan Rodgers will go for, well, if they maybe go for this year, if he is going to stay on.
Well, I'll tell you what I think will be the catalyst. It's interesting because it may not be the catalyst because of what you've said about the new chief exec at Villa being the chief exec he worked with at Liverpool. But if Celtic do not progress from the group stages of the Europa League, I don't think Brendan Rodgers will see out the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that would possibly be negotiated, a move away if he wants to go away, because already there's no smoke without fire. We've heard the Oi not back to China thing. Obviously, you know, that's been brought out to the attention of everybody, that we all know that there's a bit of unrest there. There is obviously unrest there when there's been no signings, there's no bounces, Murdo says, there's no kick, there's no spark, and it's there for all to see. The Celtic are not playing good football. Celtic have played one good game this season, obviously, you know, against the Glasgow Rangers, and that's the only decent game that Celtic have played. Rangers didn't play on the day, but, you know, Celtic played. And they showed you they could still play. They've got some quality players, but it just seems to be that they've just all hit bad form, Bill, you know, altogether. And there's nobody sticking out. There's nobody sticking out. You know, for the last 2 or 3 years, we've spoke about Brown in the middle of the park, having a bit of width with Forrest, a bit of width with Sinclair, things shored up at the back. You know, it's just never sorted the central defensive out. You know, Kieran Tierney, we've said last season, at the back end of last season, he looked tired. Does he go? It's lucky to go over the halfway line. He knocked a ball past the right back for Red Bull last night, and had basically to fill the guy to try and win the ball. And that was the last I've seen him in the offensive side of the park. But backs to the wall stuff certainly there. But Lustig as well. Many times we spoke about Murdo McLeod.
Well, of course, part of the story about why Brendan Rodgers is so disgruntled is because he was going for a right back, who I think ended up going to Valencia.
Right, okay.
But he was going for a right back. Allegedly, he thought the deal was done, and the terms of the deal was then changed by the chief exec, allegedly, so that the team that they were buying him from, I forget who it was it Real Sociedad or somebody like that, they actually then said, no, we're not going to deal with you.
I was trying to compare last night the way Celtic overrun Rangers, and a 1-0 win probably flattered us on the day. You know, Celtic hammered us at Celtic Park. Hammered us. Same thing happened to Celtic last night in Salzburg. It was an absolute embarrassment. If you're sitting there and you're a Celtic fan, when Celtic scored last night, it was the only thing they'd done.
But then they sat back. They went deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And you know my thoughts on this. If you're talking about a team who have been criticised from here to next week about defending badly, why would you sit back and invite people in to test that defence?
I think it's fear, Bill. I think it's fear of opposition.
Is it fear or lack of confidence?
I think it's lack of confidence, and right now it's lack of ability. And if you know the team in front of you are better, that makes you drop back. But you don't
become bad players overnight, Shug. We've said this before.
But how many times have I told Murdo, who have they been beaten here the last 4 years, Bill? 5 years?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Who have they been beaten here? Nobody. What's been their biggest test? Running over the top of a weakened Rangers team and think they're the best team in, you know, since sliced bread, and that's basically the way it's been. I've said that. And Celtic, a lot of Celtic fans, don't be fooled here, by the way. They have known for a long time that they have not really strengthened within their squad. All they do is sell their best players. They sell their best players, back the money and don't buy any quality in. They brought a free transfer in, Malumbo, that nobody else took. That's not what Celtic need to do to get into the final group stages of Champions Leagues and Europa Leagues and win games in Europe, buying a free transfer, who was a stick out for Kilmarnock. And it's always easy to play against these Old Firm teams and actually go and play the quality with them, with their badge on.
Yeah.
So that I said that for a long time. They stick out against them, but when they sign them, it's a different ball game. Not everybody can do it. So I think there's definitely unrest. But everybody knows it. Everybody knows what's going on.
I'm not. Listen, I don't really want to start aggravation unnecessarily because there is no need to. But I have to say, last night watching Brendan Rodgers give his interview, and it was the Celtic television I saw it.
All right.
Right. It was a clip that I'd seen that I kind of go searching for these things so that because I'm not going to see them on normal TV a lot of the time.
Sure.
And I went searching for it and I found it, and I know I'm wrong, but it was almost as if he was trying to hold back a wee smile. Mm-hmm. And you know, apparently the hotline on the Daily Record, a lot of the comments today was, is Brendan Rodgers, has he had enough, or is he just trying to embarrass the Celtic board?
Oh, really?
And, you know, once this debate's going to rumble on, and it really is going to rumble on.
If the results don't happen for them, as you say, things can be smoothed over if results on the field are hiding a lot of stuff.
Do you know, I don't think they can be with this, because I think the key components are too high up the food chain at Celtic Park.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any way back in that relationship, despite allegedly being pulled together by Dermot Desmond and said, get yourselves together. You know, I just don't think that there is any way back. I don't think Brendan Rodgers... I know people who have told me who know Brendan Rodgers. One person particularly has worked with him and told me he doesn't like criticism. He doesn't handle criticism well. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not a criticism of him as a personality. It might just be because you're a winner, you don't like to be criticised.
Yes,
and so, but he doesn't handle criticism well.
Managers deal with it different, but you're right with it, like the snigger or just the...
But he's getting a lot of criticism just now,
which he hasn't had
via
before.
His team, which he hasn't had before. Mm-hmm. And if he feels that he's shouldering the criticism that should be aimed at other people for not supporting them, he will not be a happy man. And I really don't see a way back from this. I really don't.
No.
And looking at Brendan Rodgers and Brendan Rodgers' body language, and this is purely my opinion and based on what I see, but for me, his body language isn't positive. It's not somebody who looks as if they're, you know, we've had a bad result and I'm rearing to get at it again. He says all the right things at one point, but then we didn't keep the ball well enough last night and we were poor defending again. And that's the way he said it. We were poor defending again.
Well, you know, I think it's 3-1, Bill. I think they got off light. I really, you know, even early on when Edouard scored, it was backs to the wall. It was a hump up the park with Kieran Tierney that the big centre-back didn't deal with. Edouard showed a bit of strength, 1-0. Even then, even from the centre, Bill, that Salzburg went straight at them again.
No, I know. I watched the game.
Went for the jugular, and it was like the Alamo. The second half, it was embarrassing, and they are our champions of this country, with a massive European of old reputation.
Here's a wee tweet that's coming. I'll ask you before we move on too much. Do you think that Celtic would have been successful if it had not been Rodgers in charge over the last couple of seasons?
Do you think they would have been successful? Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah, because, you know,
to the same level.
Yeah, I think so.
Double treble.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And that's without Rodgers, you think they'd still have achieved what they've achieved?
Without Rodgers, yeah.
Right.
I think they would maybe not showed as much flair, but I think they would have stumbled over the winning line purely on the strength of Rangers not being in a position to add, not having the right people in charge, Aberdeen huffing and puffing with McInnes. And where else are we looking for? And it's only just the last season and a bit that Lenny's got Hibs playing. Mm-hmm. So where else does the challenge come from? The odd, you know, loss away from home, maybe at Killie, Easter Road or whatever, and a toughie at Pittodrie, but they were coming and turning us over pretty easy. So I think anybody, I was golfing with young Martin Clark at Lags last week. His dad, John, Lisbon Lion, I says, your dad could have been in charge. Just to answer the tweet, I says, your dad could have been in charge of Celtic the last couple of seasons, Martin, and you'd have won the treble. He went, I know, Shuggy. And that is a right good Celtic boy. Okay. And he knows where I was coming from, where they were. Honestly, Bill, you know, it's like, you know, to draw up comparisons, it's like, you know, it's like somebody playing tennis, like Federer playing like a rookie at Wimbledon. Who would you expect to win? I'm just going to gain you an example.
Yeah.
You know, the champion's always going to win. They might put up a wee fight, but you know, Celtic have been playing nobody, Bill. Nobody. And when you're not getting tested, and you go into games in Europe like that where there's good quality football, there's movement's good, passing's good, will to win's there, fans are behind the other team. It's a frightening experience being in a game like that, I think, for Celtic, because they're no asked questions like that constantly in our league, Bill. And that's frightening if you're a Celtic fan right now, because the last thing they want is this to end in tears with Brendan Rodgers, because Brendan Rodgers has said all along he's a big Celtic fan, he knows the traditions of the club, said all the right things for me. Brendan Rodgers has done all the right things, he's done as much as he can do there now. I think he's set it in stone for somebody else to come in and move on. I think he wants to be back down south. I think he's missing the buzz down there. I think he'll be missing the press, a lot of the buzz up, because I think he likes to really I get that impression about Brendan Rodgers. As you say, all very well going on in the park when you're winning with Celtic fans, he's over at the fans and blah blah blah, he's doing the mini round, lap of honour against Rangers, and that's all very well, great, your team's won. But, to see your body language on the back of a 3-1 humiliation against, and I know, no disrespect, the Austrian champions here. You know, Celtic have got a bigger reputation than the Austrian league put together in Europe. But last night, it put us in a bad light, because they're the champions representing Scottish football. And they were an embarrassment. And the Celtic fans will expect me to shoot for the hip, because I've had to take it, Rangers fans have had to take it, and Scottish people in general have had to listen how great Celtic are and have been over the last few seasons. But come on, mate, I think it's been a bit of a mismatch for me.
Okay, well, it's an interesting scenario. I'm not sure that I would quite be as disparaging as... Yeah, severe would be a good word.
Well, you asked me.
No, and I'm not trying to say your opinion's wrong. I'm just... The only thing I would say about Salzburg is that, and I said this a couple of nights ago, when you've got the Red Bull name attached to you, you've got deep pockets. And you can buy players. Now, from what I gather, the budgets that Red Bull have got are big compared to other Austrian teams.
Yeah.
But by comparison to Celtic, it would be about the equivalent, probably, maybe a bit less.
You think we're paying less than Celtic?
That I don't know.
Well, you again, we hear all sorts of stories about the wage bill is at Celtic Park right now. I think that'll be getting up the nose at Dermot Desmond and Peter Lawwell and these guys.
I think that's a valid argument. I think if you bring in players at £7 million, you're probably expecting a better, or 9, depending on who you believe.
Yeah.
I think you're actually expecting a better return than they've had from Edouard.
Yeah.
You know, and people will turn round and say, but he's had injuries and he's been out and things like that. I remember end of last season, I tweeted when he went off with a hamstring injury, is Edouard injury prone? And I got pelters for it, because they turned around and said it's the first injury he's had, blah 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 blah. I mean, look, he scored a good goal last night, there's no getting away from it, but overall, Celtic's performance was a bad performance. And it was a bad performance because they left themselves vulnerable to be attacked by a team and exposed, by Brendan Rodgers' own admission, the weakest part of their team, which is their defence.
Yeah.
And with Scott Brown not there wasn't the amount of steel in the midfield that you would normally get. Because I tell you, there was one part where I think they were about 2-1 down, and Edouard got a ball on the far side, and he did a wee shimmy and a wee turn, and I thought, he thinks they're winning. Because there was no urgency about it at all.
Yeah, plays like that. His body language can be like that, Edouard. Lee Griffiths, there's that many...
Sorry, it was in Cham, not Edouard.
You know, there's that many things happening for Lee Griffiths off the park right now, with different things that are going on about his personal life. And I'm suggesting that he's stepping out of line greatly. There is other things that are affecting him right now. And you can see the press regarding Big Alec going in the huff with him, coming off against Scotland, no being the number one choice at Celtic Park, where I think he should be. Guy's been a brilliant turn for the money when you actually think what he's done there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's managing Lee Leigh Griffiths just the proper way. I know. Listen, as a Rangers fan, take Leigh Griffiths in a minute. I know the Rangers fans maybe not like that, but as a footballer, as a finisher, I bet Steven Gerrard would take him. And I tell you, I don't think that he's getting treated that properly, Celtic.
You might be right, Ewan. Getting a few people saying the connection on the feed is poor. You might want to stop it and restart it, mate. That's a video feed. Sorry, folks. I'm glad you let me know, and we will try and sort it out for you.
But you know, as
in fact, I'll tell you what we'll do, Shug.
Have a break.
So that Ewan can get it sorted. We'll have a break and we'll come back, and then we'll start to talk about Rangers, and we'll start to talk to Heggs as well. Get his views on both matches from last night.
The Trossachs is probably one of Scotland's best-known tourist areas, attracting people from all over the world. The Aberfoyle Inn is small and friendly and perfectly placed as a gateway to the Trossachs. Our 10 newly refurbished rooms offer comfort at great prices. Kick back and enjoy great food and warm hospitality in our bistro, or enjoy a drink, choosing from a wide selection of beers, wines and spirits. Whether soaking up the scenery or just relaxing, call us on 01877 382 573 or book online at aberfoyleinn.com.
A great social event starts with great entertainment, and City Sound Entertainments are suppliers of mobile discos, DJs, race nights and fun quizzes. We also hire sound and light rigs. In fact, whatever your entertainment needs, City Sound Entertainments are there to ensure your event or function is a time to remember, working to your requirements. City Sound Entertainments make sure things go exactly as you planned. Give City Sound Entertainments a call now on 0141 347 1960 and check out the website citysoundentertainments.co.uk.
Autumn's here, back to school and back to work. And whether you're on the school run or on your drive to work, it's the perfect time to upgrade your car radio to digital. With lots of in-car digital radios and adapters available, it's easy to take all the digital stations you enjoy at home with you on the road. Look for the digital tick on approved products. It means the radio is future ready.
Ask about in-car digital radio at your local car dealer, car audio specialist or Halfords.
Love radio. Go digital.
Love music. Live sport. Talking football with Bill Young, Hugh Burns and Paul Hegarty on Rock Sport Radio.
Okay, boys and girls, we've had a wee bit of a fiddle with the stream, so hopefully it's all back on an even keel now and it's working properly. If it's not, let us know again, and we'll get the boys to give it a bash with a hammer and see what's what.
Well, nothing worse when we're looking quite fuzzy at people, when the people are not seeing us properly. You know, there must be something. We've got to be clear.
I actually think that's a plus.
That helps.
That's a plus. Trust me.
Really?
That is a plus.
Yeah,
but hopefully it's okay now and it's working correctly.
Jerry says hi.
Jerry says hi. Ginger Spice says hi.
Ginger Spice. She says hi. She's driving home from spin class.
Pardon me?
She's driving home from the spin class.
Oh, I see you too.
Yeah.
Spin class.
My phone will be gone in a minute.
How middle class.
Oh, yeah. It's the only class I've got. Spin class.
Right, okay. Higgs will be with us in a minute and we'll backtrack. But let's move to Ibrox. You were there last night, as was our reporter Bob Smith, and kept us up to date with everything as the game progressed. He told us...
and I did get a running commentary on the way home as well when I gave Bob a lift. Yeah, top man.
Bob is a top man.
Top man.
So Rangers last night, I thought it was a fairly competent first half from them. It was a wee bit tentative for the first, I think, 15 minutes in my view. Then, of course, they lost the goal. Great to come back and respond within a minute, because that goal was a bad goal to lose in terms of the timing, as we all know, just before half-time. But, of course, it was even worse for Rapid Vienna, having gone a goal up and then going in one each just before the half-time whistle blew. Heggs, how you doing?
Fine, thanks yourself.
Good. We've just started on the Rangers game, and we'll come back to the Celtic game for your comments in a wee minute. I was just saying, I thought the first part of the first half, Rangers were a wee bit tentative. Then it was kind of, end-to-end stuff. They had chances, Rangers had chances. They scored the goal at a terrible time just before half-time.
Yeah.
But Rangers then pulling things back. So it was actually worse for Rapid going in at half-time, having lost a one-goal lead, than it was for Rangers.
Yeah, I just think Rangers are keeping their best for Europe, because obviously the league position's not that good. But Steve Gerrard's been absolutely magnificent on the European front. Probably what he's looking for is that again, but obviously on the league side, to win, whether it's home or away, Bill, against quality opposition is very difficult. But it looks to me, they're so commanding and they're so thorough in their preparation before and during the games in Europe that it stands them in good stead, because like everything else, they'll have somebody looking at the opposition. And I know that you've got tapes and things like that, but you've really got to get it sorted out fairly quick. And Steve Gerrard and Gary McAllister have certainly done their homework in Europe. It's just a case of trying to get that their form, their European form, domestically.
Shug, it's very, very obvious to me that, that was a team that went out last night, and certainly in the second half, sat up and said, we owe the boss a performance here. Yeah,
Paul, I think he's definitely got on about them at half-time. First half, they were not too bad. They probably had the lion's share of the ball, possession-wise, and a couple of times get in behind, fell behind, with the wrath of the linesman, I've got to say, Higgs. The linesman stand side was in front of John McDonald, and we couldn't believe it. The first one was offside. The guys came for deep out, laid it off, got it to the winger, who's at least a yard. It was proven on BT. I went down to Coisty, who was doing it with Rob McLean for the BT. We looked at the monitors. Tom as well with Rangers TV had said, Burnsy, honestly blatant. We looked at the monitors, couldn't believe it. But as Bill said, to come back a minute later to get the equaliser, Ibrox was rocking then. So to go in at half-time, 1-1, was, probably eeksy-peeksy, and I think obviously then his chance to regroup. Didn't really tinker anything on the part that they hadn't been doing in the first half. But for the second half, they came in, and even it was documented in the press room at the end of it when the Rapid manager had come in, who's just no long got the gig of me. I was talking to some guys from Austrian TV and media guys, and they were saying that this guy's well thought of, he's methodical, he's got them fit. It'll be a hard test. We'd said this before the game, but the second half, it was just bombarding them. It was in behind them. They were holding it in. Players were good in the ball. They didn't look as though they were going to give anything away. I don't think McGregor had anything major to deal with. But Rangers didn't have any passengers. Again, he's went with Big Worrell before Katic. And it looks a good combination, Paul. Tavernier's kicked on. But for me, the best player in the park, and I looked at the pundits and the guys in the press, very, very unassuming type player who just goes about his job. He's brought him in on the back of, a wee bit of, things that have been happening, misdemeanours here, there and everywhere. But for me, John Flanagan last night was absolutely magnificent.
I spoke to Tom Miller about Flanagan and Barisic. To me, Barisic is a bit of a James Tavernier. He gives you a lot going forward. I've been disappointed with his defending at the back, and I maybe think that's because at Osijek he was encouraged to go on those runs and somebody else would be dropping in behind him, or the way that they set up. I have thought Flanagan doesn't offer you as much going forward, but he's certainly a far better defender. Without a doubt. I like Flanagan a lot.
But the thing about Flanagan, Bill, is, Paul, being the experienced player he has, and let's not forget that John Flanagan has played in many European ties as well, at Anfield, with Stevie Gerrard, and knows how to play that position. And he's cute, because what he does is, I know the winger will track back and go, you're blocked off, you can't run past me now. But see that wee check inside? He's very good at actually starting Rangers' possession to go out one side and out the other. Yeah. And he doesn't give the ball away. He goes and wins headers, he tucks in, You can see him talking to his two young central defenders. You can see him helping Ryan Kent, or if it's young Middleton, you can see him talking to Ajayi in the middle of the park, communicating with Arfield. I think pound for pound last night, and I sat again with David Leggett, one of the old experienced reporters. Who's your man of the match, Lego? He says, for me, John Flanagan. I says, here. I thought he was magnificent. He led for the front, as did a lot of the Rangers players, but Flanagan last night, left back's no always man of the matches. For me, he didn't have a sponsor's man of the match, but for me, we were disappointed with what they'd said in the press. Again, a lot of people don't see that, but I see it, and players that sit and see things, how they go about and do their job, methodical, particular, tidy, good on the park, good to have a seasoned pro on a night like that, Bill, where there's nothing going in behind him. There was one time, I think the first half, he got caught early doors, pace in behind. He was then cute enough to know where to position
just to sit
himself.
back a wee bit.
And, you know, and you can see that Stevie Gerrard just loves him to bats, because, you know, you can see the communication even between him when he's playing left back and the managers on the touchline. They've been together, they work well together, just generally all over the park, no weaknesses. I would say that Arfield had a pretty quiet game, gave the ball away a lot, but I think the problem with Scott Arfield is Scott Arfield's played in workman-like teams over the years down south. He's played at Huddersfield, he's played at Burnley, you know, up and at him type footballer down there. I spoke to Big Bob Malcolm at the golf today about Arfield too, and Big Bob knows his stuff because he played down south as well at that particular level. And I said, what do you think, Bob? He says, is this that? I says, for me, the Rangers fans are looking for maybe a wee bit too much out of Scott Arfield to be let's ohm it up with a pass inside the fullback, let's get on the end of things and be that kind of Barry Ferguson, Stevie Gerrard type player. He's not that type of player. He's right, box to box, Paul. And I think, if anything, the Rangers fans are getting a bit on edge with Scott Arfield. You'll get a pound of flesh out the boy, and you've seen that last night with his tackle on the halfway line. Right and wholehearted, win the ball. Rangers fans love that, but the Rangers fans need to kind of just get off his back a little bit. I think Arfield is a workman-like footballer, but I still think, okay, Ajayi is looking to make things happen, but I think Rangers are still looking for that midfield dominator, Paul. Somebody that'll ping it both sides, somebody that'll be the general in there. And right now, because Stevie Gerrard will play that way, I still think he'll look for somebody in there. Ajayi played well. Ryan Kent is getting better every game. Morales, great finish first half. Second one, I've got to say as well, what a back heel for Candias.
Well, I'll tell you why for me that was extra special. And I know this just by, if you look at when Candias executes it, he looks just over his shoulder to make sure it's gone where he wanted it to go. Yep. But I'll tell you what made that special for me, guys. It wasn't the back heel, which in itself was special. It was a speed of thought, where he knew, I can't take this turn and pass it because he's over the halfway line and he's offside. And he thought about it in a flash, and then made the execution. And it wasn't an execution where it was just an aimless back heel. It was right in front of him.
And of course he's went 1-1 to win it. Yeah. So he showed that desire to get out. His team are 1-2-1. He's went 1-1 with the guy. He showed a bit of strength. He said good feet, good movement, and a right bit of pace on his back heel, knowing exactly to put it in front of Morelos to make sure he was 1-1. And you know something, I think really, to be honest, guys, it's the first time Morelos has been through 1-1 he's actually finished. Because how many times have we seen him 1-1 and he's not been that finisher? But again, last night, you know, they've got a song for Morelos when he scores now. The fans come to life, they love him, they know they're not always going to get that end product, but they're with him, and they're with him on the journey. You know, I listen to that word a lot, on journeys, and we do this and we do that, but Morelos is on a journey right now, and he's loving every minute of it. Every time he scores, he's looking up to his relations up in the corner, his family are up there. He's a young kid going places. Might not be the finished article, they're working with him, that there is no doubt, but you can see that Morelos is taken on board at the training centre, and he's taking training pitch I should say, and he's taking it into match situations, Paul. And when you've got a young guy learning off Stevie Gerrard, Gary McAllister and the backroom staff, you tell you what, you're getting it right when you're getting him. Want to behave himself, want to distribute the ball better, want to get his touch better.
You want to get your tongue retreaded and give Higgs a chance to talk.
But Higgs will come in, but he knows what I'm talking about. A young guy learning on the training field, Bill, and you see it in a match situation, that's a pat in the back to the training, to the backroom staff.
Right, you two talk for a minute.
I'm away to the toilet, Higgs.
No, I'm away to go and sort out this stream.
Right,
so
okay.
you two carry on.
Okay, Higgs, on you go, then.
See what you talked originally, Hugh and Bill, about Flanagan. I'm old-fashioned. I want defenders just to be outright defenders and defend correctly. And what you're saying about Flanagan, that's music to my ears. Now, if you can go and assist and get yourself forward and maybe get the odd cross on one or two to cause the opposition a problem, that's great. But I'm old-fashioned, Hugh, because see if you've got good defenders, then the ones in front of you can do whatever they want from middle to front, because they know at the back they're going to shut up shop. And just what you're saying about Flanagan, defensively outstanding. So see if you get more your back four or your three, as sometimes as clubs play. See if you've got that. Yep. Then the ones from the middle to front have got confidence, so that if they are under pressure, they know the back three or the back four, in this case, are going to mop up. And also, I'm going to mention what you said about Morelos and the players at Rangers. They are, see when you're playing in Europe, and I've said it on numerous occasions, but they're all good footballers. But we, Jim, used to say to all us, by the way, see where you're playing in Europe, you've got to be an intelligent footballer. Now, that doesn't mean to say you've got 10 O-levels and 6 hires.
Yes.
What he meant was you've got to suss out the opposition pronto, quickly, because they might be strong in his right foot, he might be strong in the air, he might be strong in the left foot, he's quick over 5 or 10 yards. And in Europe, you've got to do it instantly, because if not, and Rangers, thankfully, have been excellent this season, they have switched on immediately, because Steven Gerrard and Gary McAllister have loads and loads of DVDs about the opposition they're playing. That's where players have got to be tuned in immediately, because you know what it's like when you're playing at home and playing at Ibrox. You're under severe pressure at the best of time, but more so in Europe, because you're playing against more intelligent players, because a drop of a hat, they could take a defender short for someone else to run long into the space that he's just left. That's where defenders, and good defenders and quality defenders, Hugh, are worth their weight in gold, especially in Europe.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people don't realise when you're entertaining these clubs, these are the best. These are the best of that particular country. You forget that sometimes, of their country. They're representing their country. I know they're in 8th position, but I'll tell you one thing, what I have got to say as well, in case we do miss it, I thought their fans were magnificent last night in the corner.
I agree.
There was 3,500 in there.
And
right.
they never shut up.
And they never shut up. And we were all looking around about us. Even when Rangers scored, they still had the flags up and singing and dancing. And I tell you one, they were impeccably behaved. The Rangers fans applauded them as well. Didn't like it when the scarves went up and they did the green scarves, of course.
They're actually called the Greens.
Well, there you are. And I spoke to a lot of the Austrian people in the press room. They were all class acts. And again, when the manager came in and spoke very, very highly of Rangers, he says we could not match Rangers. He kept talking about the physicality. Second half, Higgs, he kept talking about through the interpreter. I didn't need the interpreter. I speak fluent German, of course. So I knew exactly what he was talking. I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Said last week, Rangers were ruthless in the second half, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I just think he had the shape spot on. I think when you're looking at especially the European nights, you want to give nothing away. You want the team, you want the supporters on your side, and I think the reason he's left maybe Katic out is just to let him know Worrell's up here, no for a holiday. He's up here to play, so you need to play to get back in. The same with Barisic. He's been signed, possibly maybe long term. John Flanagan, for me, right now, get the jersey. We've seen even last week the defensive qualities of Barisic. We've seen them a wee bit flawed at Villarreal as well when they lost that second goal. So there's a question mark there. There's no doubt that Tavernier's defensive qualities have got better. Still the odd time he turns off.
I don't think they've got better. I think he's got cleverer about how he goes round the park now.
But remember, he's now putting the 2 centre-backs inside him. that are maybe actually talking to him and pulling him in, Higgs. You know, the way when maybe Goffey started playing with you and Big Dave, that Big Goffey made a bit naive early goals. Richard, tuck in, if I'm going, come in behind, come in. You can see Golston all over Tavernier now, and Golston's not the captain. So he's pulling the right back in when they're shimmying across, and it's great to see. Tavernier's been playing with Russell Martin, no disrespect. David Bakes, no disrespect. McCrory's a midfield player. So there's another centre-back that we're playing with. And endless amounts of probably auxiliary centre-backs and sweepers over the last 2 or 3 year phase been there. If you're not getting help, Bill, your weaknesses they'll shine through. That's been shown up in James's game. He's now playing me better centre-backs.
Shugger, I think you're right, but I think it's even simpler than that. I think he's playing with somebody that knows how to play him.
Well,
in terms of, this is what I want you to do. The one thing you can see about Rangers now, and I hope you both agree with this, the one thing you can see about Rangers now that you didn't see with them either with Warburton, Kushinya or Murty. Every man knows what his job is.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that previously. And I think James Tavernier now knows when to go, when to stay. Because I think Stephen Gerrard's told him what his job is and clearly defined it. Rather than say, you just bomb up there, you just bomb up there. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think he's done that. I think he's been very specific about, this is what I want from you, and this is when I want it from you.
But he's also got the wee safety blanket away. He knows when Kindeas is there.
Yes.
You know, Kindeas is there. You know, Daniel will sit in when and they do really play. They play some really good stuff in the offensive side of the field. They really are. They're quick. They're brave. They're strong. I just like to see a wee bit more quality for Tavernier. That is the only thing I right now I think lacking with some quality, with quality whipped in crosses, and I'm pretty sure they're.
What would you prefer, him having a bit more quality up top from middle to front, or defensively better than you?
Well, I think his defensive qualities have got better, Paul, and strangely enough, you just want everything not to go all work together. Defensive qualities, tucking in, overlapping, whipping onto the box, and look, the complete fullback. You maybe even, I think that when you look at the press the wee boy Trippier gets at Tottenham, right? James Tavernier technically is as good a player as Trippier. Maybe he's quick. I say Trippier's quicker, but Trippier can whip the ball in a wee bit better for me. And I'm just trying to give you a kind of right back that's renowned in England right now. Trippier's the England right back. And see if James Tavernier whipped the ball in as well as Trippier, they will come calling for Tavernier. That there is no doubt.
Yeah, but you know what?
But we don't want it to happen.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what I think about that, and I think you're absolutely right. But I think that the comparison's slightly off. Only because you see, Tavernier very rarely runs to the byline where Trippier does, and so he's launching them.
But there's still a way to put the ball in the box, Bill.
No, I agree with you, but he's launching them from a bit deeper, which means the trajectory of the ball is going to be different anyway.
Yeah, I'll give you that. You've got to, but then, Bill, there's a way of whipping it in and getting it in that penalty area with pace, and the centre forward's only just getting that wee nick on it. That's the only thing I think right now, because I'll tell you something right now, he must be absolutely knackered at the end of the game, Tavernier, because he's taking corners both sides. This is a right back. Taking corners both sides, taking free kicks everywhere. He's a captain. He's up and down that line with Candice. He is putting one shift in right now. But what a player. Now, there's another person who we would never have thought would have got the armband. Never. And I heard Rangers fans, he's never a captain. He's never a captain.
At the end of last season, there was debate whether he was going to be here for this season.
Of course, we thought somebody might have come in and spent 2 or 3 million on him, Eggs. But he's been brilliant as Tavernier. What you bought him for, what he's worth now, how he's became a better footballer, and I think that Stephen Gerrard. Listen. When you think about it, and it's not that long away, but the window opens again, not that long down the line, and he'll be looking to bring in again to strengthen and keep the momentum going. I think somebody asked him, Stephen, how can your team...
Bob Smith,
Rock Sport, Pest, Stalker, I'll ask you everything you want, right? So Bob, I'm sitting next to Bob. Actually, Stevie Gerrard's looking for Bob Smith when he comes in now for Rock Sport. So Bob's firing the questions in, right, which he's brilliant at, I've got to say. And somebody asked him, it wasn't Bob this one, he says, listen, how can you look at that team tonight and think about Almenveller to Tony Macaroni on Sunday night? He says, that was the first thing I thought about at the end of the game tonight. Stephen Gerrard said that. He says, that was the first thing I thought. How could my team let me down like that on Sunday? How could they let themselves down? Turn up maybe not prepared, maybe the wrong frame of mind. He mentioned it all. He went right through it and went, I still can't believe my team performed like that on Sunday. And to bounce back the way they done, there's obviously been harsh words in the dressing room Sunday. They've obviously prepared properly Monday, Tuesday. He's obviously, tinkered that about a little bit, who he wants to play, who he's wanting to leave out. Halliday's been doing good, so that was a wee call to leave him out. It was a call between Flanagan and Barisic. There was another wee call. Are you going to start with Middleton? No, I'll go with Kent, because he's getting a wee head of steam.
For me, Kent was the man of the match.
Yeah, well,
I know you went for Flanagan, I understand why.
Yeah, but
for me, Kent was man of the match.
And you know something, I would think if you're a manager, Higgs, and you've made 2 or 3 changes and made a big call on a big night and you get a result, what a feeling, Paul. Yeah. What a feeling.
I think the problem with Stevie Gerrard as well, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think he's got a bit of a dilemma, because he would want a settled defence, wouldn't he? Whether it's a back 3 or a 4, he would want that. And he has chopped and changed quite a lot over the course of the season, hasn't he?
Well, he's changed probably. Tavernier picks himself. The left backs are kind of topsy-turvy right now, but I think Flanagan's ahead. Golston will start, the goalie will start. I think he's really just between Worrell and Katic right now. I still think he'll go with his flush 4. He'll maybe go 4-1-4-1 or run about that. Last night he played with his wee kind of, looks like a wee diamond in there more than anything, with his 2 wide guys. But you actually see the shape of the team, and he's getting away with it because Morales didn't look totally alien upsell on his own last night, because he works that hard up there. So then Kyle Lafferty's got to push himself into the team. Halliday's got to push himself back in. Dorans wasn't even in the squad last night.
When was the last time you had a conversation where you were talking about players having to fight for their place at Rangers?
Well, it's been a long time, Bill, but again, it's been a long time coming, and that's how the Rangers fans... Paul, I was sitting next to John McDonald last night. I do admit doing the bouncy and the pest grancy, they don't like you doing that in there. They look at you as if you've got 2 heads. But we McDonald and I really weren't caring, because we were having a great night. But Paul, the Rangers fans have had too many bad days, too many bad nights, too much bad press, too many things going on round about their beloved club, and they're only really enjoying right now what Rangers fans have always been used to. And it's been a long road getting there. Not even there. They're not there yet. We know that. The manager knows that. But they are on their way. They sing that, we're on our way, we're on our way. They are on their way. They're on a better way. They're on a better road. With a better manager. With the right people on board. And I've said that before. We're not reading about Rangers in our way, in the boardroom. As you say, if the results are right, then you'll get away with it right now. We've not seen any negative press there. They'll still be wanting to invest. And what a time right now if somebody came in and invested when they're on that road and kick on again. So they're no far away. I still think they'll look to add. I think if they keep the run going, what hurt me more on Sunday night was they've worked that hard to get there. See if they'd beat Livingston 1 last night, sky's the limit, bring on Hearts on Sunday. But the fact that you're back to square one again after Livingston, but I'll tell you what, they've kicked on again.
What's the reason behind that? Because I just said at the outset of the programme, the European form is excellent and the domestic form's ordinary by any standards.
I don't think the domestic form is as bad as maybe what the league is suggesting right now.
Hang on, wait, I'm going to stop you. What's your favourite saying?
Wait a minute, guys. I've got excuses for the games that I've lost, boys. I have got valid points for the games I've lost.
In that case, they're not excuses, they're explanations.
Explanation of Aberdeen. The referee cost us 2 points. The goalie should have came and got the goal at the third goal, and we shouldn't be going losing at Livingston. We're better than that. So, there's 6 points we've dropped that would have put us up there with the Jambos. So, listen, Paul, honestly, I mean that wholeheartedly. We shouldn't have lost at Aberdeen. I think you've seen that yourself. We shouldn't have lost there. We're 3-2 up, the last kick of the ball below, and the Livingston thing, right, will we kick on and become a better team for that? Possibly, yeah. Sometimes you take a wee kick in the old cajonas and kahunas or whatever they're called, and you get better for it. So I think it'll be a lesson learned for them, and really that's it.
You know what it's like playing football. You go back in the season, you say, if only I'd done this, if only we hadn't dropped this point. See players and clubs, especially successful clubs like the Rangers in the past. That's when, and Bill mentioned it a few weeks ago, as being ruthless.
Right, Rangers will
do. Right. And they did that in the second half against Rapid Vienna last night. Yeah. But Stevie Gerrard's wanting that all the time, and rightly so, because Brendan Rodgers got the first 2 seasons for Celtic. Now they're struggling a bit, to say the least. But Stevie Gerrard's played at the top. He knows what it's all about, and he's demanding them to be ruthless and be dominant, not just for one half, but for the majority of the game, if not 90 minutes.
I think really what's probably been hurting the Rangers fans, management. That if Livingston had came to Ibrox last Sunday, Rangers would have won 3 or 4-0, and really the test was there to go and prove your worth, to say, right, we're on a great run, you're not beating us. We didn't look like beating Livingston last Sunday. That was the point. We didn't
Rangers wouldn't have beat Livy 3 or 4-0 at Ibrox playing the way they played last week.
No, I'm not saying that, but they wouldn't have played like that anyway. They wouldn't have played like that.
Look, every team's going to have games like that throughout a season.
Not at home, not against Livingston. I'd have fancied us strongly.
Right.
Because we've been on a great run. So, I think the reason we're all talking about it is because Rangers were on such a great run going there. They weren't in a bad run going there, Bill. They were on a good form. And you keep talking about the league, but they'll climb the league, believe me.
I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying, all I'm saying is...
If it's no you, it's Hegarty.
All I'm saying is, don't be a hypocrite. You can't say one week the league doesn't lie,
right, well, listen,
and the following week say we shouldn't be there.
We'll see the league shown on Monday night.
I'm quite happy to wait for that. Sadly, Murdo won't be here for you.
Mm-hmm. Who are you planning?
I don't know. We're going to have to try and find somebody. I might bring Jerry in there,
Jerry Collins?
Aye.
I've got the call coming already.
Listen, here's a couple of bits and pieces just before we start on the fixtures, boys. A couple of tweets come in. Bill, it's not just that they have players fighting for a team position, it's that they have good players fighting for the same positions, which is a very good point. Don't know what you are expecting from Tav. He has 6 goals this season and 8 assists. The only real way to measure quality is with numbers, and Tav is phenomenal.
Brilliant. There you go.
Well, let me
shut you up, isn't it?
No, it's not shut me up, because I'm not sure that it's actually... James Tavernier has 3 goals according to my score thing in the league, and 2 assists.
Right.
Now I'm hoping that this is up to date and accurate from my producer. So that's what it's saying. It says Stephen Naismith is top scorer, 5 goals scored, 3 assists. Kyle Lafferty, 4 goals scored, no assists.
What's that tweet saying? 6 goals, 8 assists?
It's saying 6 goals, 8 assists.
So well, he's been at the heart of a lot of stuff, I've got to say.
Listen, look, you cannot knock Tavernier's performances.
You've just a go at him.
No, you were the one that said I'd be happier if he could whip the ball in. I think he's been doing well, and I said I think it's because he's been given more definition in his role.
There's nothing better. A full-back can get out of jail all day long if his delivery's good in the box.
Hugh, see when he goes forward, not that I've seen Rangers too often in the league this year, right? See when he's forward, does the other full-back tuck in?
Well, I think really then they maybe just become that 3 and they'll flush themselves across the back. It means that Flanagan will know instantly to do that, where maybe Barisic will know. Barisic will want to bomb, and I think they're probably 2 kind of similar if he plays Barisic and Tav. So, Flanagan will obviously then sit knowing he's not going to go forward. And Worrell and the boy Golson's outstanding, Paul. He's the player.
He's very good, isn't he?
He's very, very good and very comfortable coming for the back, comfortable taking that little touch when maybe everybody's expecting him to play one of those long kind of maybe centre back balls into the corner where he'll just take that other wee touch and that other wee look. And you always say good players look as though they've got loads of time in the ball. He looks as though he's got loads of time.
You're absolutely right. Just coming back to that, because there was a wee bit of doubt about Worrell with all of this carry on, with Katic not being in there and people saying sometimes I'm not sure about Worrell. He didn't get a good press last week. The one thing I would say about Worrell, I thought he had a really good game last night, but I think he's got to learn that the game's quicker up here, because there were a couple of times where he almost got his pocket picked.
I think his feet could be quicker. Yeah, I think he could move his feet a little bit. I think it was obviously well documented last Sunday. That surface didn't suit that big fella at all, but centre backs, it's a hard surface. It's the same for all sets of players, but centre-backs look a wee bit, Bambi and ice on it.
For me, with Worrall, it's getting acclimatised to the pace of the game in Scotland.
Games will only do that, Bill.
You're right. You're absolutely
never mind practice matches. Never mind all the doggies you do in training.
That's my only criticism even of last night, because I thought it was a great game.
But look how Kent's getting better with games.
Absolutely.
Look how Jaira's getting better with games.
And I think that's
look
because
how Flanagan's fitter with games. So
I think it comes down to them getting acclimatised to the pace and the physicality of our game as well.
Let's not forget the boy Worrall, right? He's came up here, and I don't know how wee Youngie, but Youngie texted me from Latvia. I believe he's doing a decent job with the team that he's in charge over there. That's another story. But anyway, he says Big Worrall will do a great job. I don't know where the connection is. Maybe he's knew him when he's been at Sheffield or whatever. But remember, he's running out there in front of 50,000 fans last night, and I've got to say, honestly, they're really, really good for the Europa League. They do it really well, and UEFA take over the stadium and everything's all great, it's all geared up. I know it's not the Champions League, but I'll tell you something, it's absolutely brilliant experience here last night. I really enjoyed it. But I just think that Worrall's come in and looks the part. I think he's one of these centre-backs, right? He's maybe like a Paul Hegarty, maybe not great in the ball, but knows exactly what he's doing. He goes and wins the ball. Maybe technically a wee bit better than Hegarty, I've got to say. Maybe when I think about it, he's probably a better player than Hegarty.
He's winking, Paul.
Right. But he plays. He plays the way he's facing, and he tucks in, he goes and wins balls, and he's a kind of organiser as well. No, he is. So he looks an old-fashioned type centre-half that Rangers, I think, were looking for. How many times have we heard that Rangers are needing two good centre-backs? Two good centre-backs and a goalie. Durrant said it today. I was at a golf with Durrant, and I couldn't believe actually Durrant was actually golfing, because I says, how are you going to hit the ball? He says, your hands in your pockets 9 times out of 10. I was on the side of the park. How are you going to strike the ball? Great bit of banter. He says, by the way, Masha, Rangers are better. 2 centre-backs and a goalie. Your wee 3 in there are much better than what he was working with and what the previous managers were working with. So I just think at the back, you build for there, through the middle, up top, bit of width, and it's much better.
All right, let's move on and look at the fixtures for the weekend, gentlemen. And I have to say, this is an interesting one, because Motherwell are trying to get their mojo back, and Livy are on the crest of a wave. They go to Fir Park tomorrow. Motherwell against Livingston. Heggs.
Like Motherwell, when I spoke about it last week, Stephen Robinson will be scratching his head, no sure what he's going to get from his team, losing fairly heavily last week. Was it 3-1 to Kilmarnock?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and plus as well, Bill and Hugh, there's no one for 3 games, and he's one of these guys that will be tearing his hair out. He'll be chopping and changing during the week and hoping somebody gives him a bit of hope and a bit of sort of pleasure in the training, seeing that pick me, and when they come to the games they disappoint. I just feel sorry for Stephen, because he's got a team that play well when they're up and at them. They're physical, they're strong, but they don't do often enough, and that's where Motherwell let themselves down, because they can't play that type of game all the time. When they play against Old Firm, they come alive, they don't folk about, they do ever so well, but the last 3 games they've lost the last 3 games, and they're sucked back into the mire, as you would say, and they're playing against probably in my eyes at the moment, guys, are the team of the season by far for what they've done in the league. 14 points, you would say, get another 3 or 4 victories, and that's them set up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're not far away, Higgs, I've got to be honest. And we're all surprised at Motherwell. We thought Motherwell might get better. His recruitment in the summer usually is stronger. They're usually a wee bit better than what they're showing right now. But listen, Motherwell could turn up tomorrow and win 3 or 4 nothing. That's what you get with Motherwell.
That's right, Hugh.
That's what you get. What you will get with Livingston is, a work ethic that the Premier League have not seen for a while. Usually what happens is when teams come up, they roll over and they accept it and they feel a wee bit inferior. Now, Livingston are not feeling inferior to anybody. We've got a manager there that just looks as though he's got a smile on his face, delighted to be working, delighted to be in a job. He can see it. It's rubbing off in players. He's got his shape right. He's got his players all playing the way they can play. He's not asking them to do anything they can't do, Bill.
But they do what they do well.
Well, that's it. But when you know somebody they can do that job, Bill, that's the job you ask them to do.
Yeah.
Don't ask them to do something they're not capable of doing.
How many times have we spoken about managers that come in, try and play pretty football with players that are not of the quality that can do it?
100%. I've got to agree with you, and I think it's similar what's happening there right now. So, it shows you the work that Hopkin done. Shows you the work in the short space of time that Kenny Miller had done in the few weeks he was there as well, and Holtby's took up the mantle. But Stevie Robinson, exactly as Hegg said, must be pulling his hair out. Great little guy, speaks well, and I feel quite sorry for him actually right now. Heggs?
Yeah, so do I. You see Livingston are playing exactly the way they played against Championship, but you know what they're doing? They've upped the ante in regards to playing against better players, and they've upped the ante in regards to how to do things quicker, and that's what they've done.
And Heggs, sometimes we forget this, right, Bill and Paul, the fact that they've came up, right? They've came up, and these players who were in the Championship, who are now in the Premier League playing for Livingston, they're getting a better stand. Strangely, when it comes down to money, they're actually earning. Let's not forget, they're there to make money. They're there, it's their job. So the more they do well, the more money they're making.
Well, I'll tell you another.
We forget that sometimes as well, don't we? That these guys are making a good living. The more games they win.
I'll tell you another reason why Livy are doing well, and it's because they've had 3 managers in quick succession. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why, because Craig Halkett was on with me earlier on in the week, and Craig was saying we've had to stick together as a group and as a team, because, we lost David Hopkins, then we were ready for Kenny Miller coming in, he was only there 5 minutes, and now we've got another manager. If we hadn't stayed together as a team and as a group, we'd have been done.
Yeah, I know.
So what they did was they kind of closed ranks on the whole managerial thing and said, right, it's down to us.
But do you see where I'm coming from?
I do.
You're in the Premier League. You're playing in front of, what was the crowd last week? 9,000 there. Maybe 10,000 at Tony Macaroni, compared to 1,000 in the Championship. You're talking about full houses, you're talking about incentives, you're talking about getting yourself a better standard of living, you're talking about looking after your family, you're talking about everything, the trimmings that go with being a Premier League footballer compared to scraping a living in the Championship. I don't mean that in a bad way, but listen, you want to play at the highest level you can, you want to make as much money as you can and enjoy it as much as you can, and right now all that's happening at Tony Macaroni, and I like to see players, and they'll be delighted how it's going. But let's not forget the fact, they players when they cross that way, they're doing it. It's all very well the manager getting it right in the side of the park and he's doing great, but they players are no letting anybody down right now. They're crossing that line, they've got the instructions for the manager, they're all obeying it, they're all working as a team, they've all got their own wee bit of flair, but their work ethic is up there. It's up there with the Hearts, how Hearts couldn't break them down. So it shows you a wee bit of hard graft, plenty of people working hard during the week in training, taking it into match situations, you've got a chance, because class will always come through and what have you, but see that will to win in that fire, see if that's not in the belly, you're up against it.
Okay, what's going to be the score then tomorrow?
2-0 Motherwell. I'm going to go for a Motherwell win, guys. I'm going to go for a Motherwell win. I'm just, we didn't spend that much time but first part, it's a hard place to go and win.
Motherwell will not knock Livy around.
Well, you don't know. I just think, it's not going to last forever with Livingston. If they do, great on them, right? They've been great results, picked up some great wins and points in here, there, but I just think tomorrow, I'll give them a goal. I'll tell you what, I'll go 2-1 Motherwell. There'd be
Heggs.
Well, what I'm going to say is, I'm going to add to what he was saying there. See, the plus for Livingston, they haven't made any wholesale changes personnel. There's not been a mass exodus of players.
No.
A lot of the players that played in the Championship, what they've done is say, well, on you go, see what you can do in the Premiership. And the majority of players are still playing in the Premiership as the ones that played in the Championship. And what's happened is they've gained in confidence and they've realised, by the way, we can do a job in this league. And that's what's great. There's not been any wholesale personnel changes.
What do you think the result's going to be?
I think it's going to be 1-1.
That's exactly what I was going to go for. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw as well. OK, Aberdeen against St Mirren. We'll start with you, Mr Burns, on this one.
Yeah, well, listen, paper, you would say that Aberdeen would fancy their chances to beat St Mirren. St Mirren's done nothing. I know that Owen Kearney has come in, and after their first point against Celtic, they've not really kicked on. But again, you know, I like to look at the papers and wee Gus's and a good bit that Robert Grieve done in the Sun today. Gus McPherson knows what it's like to become a successful St Mirren boss. He says his job now is to help Owen Kearney become you know, that manager, and I think it'll be a great help, Gus, in recruitment and what have you. But I'm sorry, but I don't really see it starting at Pittodrie tomorrow. I think according to all accounts, Aberdeen played OK in stages last week in bits of the game. I don't think they were overrun maybe the way they've went and froze before at Celtic Park, but I just think it shows you that Celtic have taken a back step, you know, that Aberdeen think they should maybe get something out of the game. So probably not the best Celtic team that Aberdeen have played lately, but anyway, they've went away with a 1-0 defeat. But you would expect, and I expect, Aberdeen to come out all guns blazing, and it's games like that'll keep Aberdeen at the higher edges of the top of the league for me. And I really genuinely don't see St Mirren. I don't see them going up there and causing a shock tomorrow. I fancy Aberdeen strongly to kick on, but again, as we say, it's where the goals are coming for Aberdeen, who's scoring the goals. But I think they'll be strong at home against it.
I think tomorrow it might be different, Higgs, purely and simply because I don't think they'll need a lot of goals to win this game, because I don't see the threat coming from. I agree with you. I don't see the threat coming from St Mirren under sustained pressure. It's a big playing surface at Pittodrie as well, and I just think Aberdeen will enjoy most of the possession, and I think they've got enough to get a couple of goals there.
I've got to agree with you, Perry, is really, because St Mirren, you know, even like the new manager, he's had his honeymoon period was the Celtic game on the Friday night when he got 0-0. Since then, they've done nothing. And even when they played Hibs last week, by all accounts, Neil Lennon was really upset with his team because they should have buried St Mirren by a lot more. And when you're not doing so well at home, when you go to Pittodrie or go to places like that, guys, then it's a real tall order. I just feel, you know, St Mirren are going to be sucked in with the likes of the Dundees and the Hamiltons and that, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a really difficult time. What they've got to try and do is weather the storm and try and pick up the odd point away from home. But when they get, you know, fixtures at home, that's where likes of Livingston and a degree Hamilton, when they get games at home, you've got to pick up points from your home games. I just feel Aberdeen have stumbled along. They've only picked up 9 points from 7 games, guys. Likes of Rangers 11 points, and Celtic are the same, much the same. They've still to start their season, the 3 teams, as far as I'm concerned, and I just feel tomorrow might just kickstart Derek McInnes' squad. He'll be disappointed losing Scott McKenna for a 2-game ban. We could argue as much as you want. I just think if you don't get booked or sent off in that game, you should play the next game. You know, we have, you know, the trial by television now. If you did that with everybody in every game, then it'd be bookings and sending offs and, you know, bans for everybody. And I know that it looked reckless, but as far as I'm concerned, you know, it's trial by television now. Derek McInnes will be disappointed to lose McKenna, because since McKenna's come back, Aberdeen have been fairly frugal at the back. I know the loss to Celtic last week, 1-0, and as Hugh says, against a Celtic team that's not firing all cylinders. But I just think Aberdeen will have too much for St Mirren tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, what's the score, Higgs? What do you fancy?
I'm going to go Aberdeen 3, St Mirren 0.
Me too, mate. Yeah.
So you're both going for a
I think so, Bill. I just think you can't see St Mirren having the start they've had. You know, that first game of the season, they beat a real poor Dundee. A point against Celtic gave them 4. They're down there fighting for every point.
Yeah, look, I know exactly.
You can't see the quality there to go and win.
The only thing I would say, you're right, I don't see the quality there to go and win, but I think they're well organised at the back and they keep their shape
Well,
right.
there they will be, you know.
I think Aberdeen are not prolific goal scorers. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0 Aberdeen.
I'm going to go 2-0 for the Dons, to be honest with you. Dundee against Killie. Now, we had a reprieve for Neil McCann last week against Hamilton. I thought they got out of jail, to be honest with you. The amount of possession and the amount of opportunities Aki's had. Mm-hmm. They rattled the woodwork. They did everything except just get that goal. Heggs, I'm just thinking Neil McCann could be the topic of conversation all over again tomorrow if Steve Clarke's team go up there and come away with 3 points.
Before Heggs comes in, but wasn't it great to see, Paul, Neil McCann smiling last week? Wasn't it great just to see him? You know what I mean, Heggs? You know where I'm coming from?
I must admit, I'm delighted for him because he's been whacked so many times this season, and he was probably needing a bit of luck last week because Bill's 100% correct in regards to Hamilton. They hit the woodwork probably on 2, possibly 3 occasions, and more often than not, Hamilton would have won the game quite easily, but it was a lady luck. It was shining on Dundee this time. I'm just delighted for Neil because everyone thought that he could be on his way. But what I do like as well, and I've said it on numerous occasions on this show, you've got chairmen who are prepared to hang on there another week. What happens if he gets a result against Kilmarnock tomorrow? You'll say, what a great decision. I think it'll be difficult because, as far as I'm concerned, Stevie Clarke can do no wrong in my eyes. I think he's been absolutely magnificent. A convincing game, a convincing victory last week against Motherwell at home, 3-1, beating Celtic the week before, 2-1. I must admit, I wasn't expecting Kilmarnock to do what they've done this year compared to last year. I just think there might be a wee bit of momentum in regards to Dundee because the local papers this week have been full of, obviously, one club for all reasons, one club for all the right reasons, which is obviously Dundee in this case. And I just think it might just be a wee twist and turn for Neil McCann. I'm not saying they're going to win, and I'm not going to say they're going to get beat, so you know what I'm thinking about.
Yes, yeah.
But I just feel it might just be the spark that Neil McCann needs to just try and get back into the pack, which is obviously St Mirren and the Hamiltons and clubs like that and the Motherwells. So I think it might be tighter tomorrow than what it would have been if Dundee had lost last week to Hamilton.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you.
Shug, let me ask you this though, and I can see what you're both saying in that respect, but how much importance have you got to put on what happens with the teams around them in terms of results?
Well, I think that's maybe, staved off the execution. The board have looked at the fixtures and went, right, okay, we'll not go into Celtic Park, we'll not go into Ibrox. The Ibrox game, they've came, they didn't do anything. So the fixtures all round about it. The board will still sit and go, right, we can give St Mirren a game, we can give Kilmarnock a game, we can give Hibs a game, Yeah,
but what if those teams get results against each other and other teams?
Well, then the pressure, you rely on a bit of luck, a bit of lady luck you rely on, Bill. I love her of that, but sometimes you've got to go with a bit of luck. And you just need a result just to give you any kind of spark, because there was nothing sparking out of Dundee. There was nothing happening. It was 7 losses, down to Hamilton, hard won, on the 4G. You're not expecting to win. You get absolutely pummeled. I think the stats were 70-30 with the chances, the crossbar. It was a crossbar challenge at Hamilton. It was like bang off the crossbar, after the crossbar, blah blah blah. You've got a wee turn. You've got up the road with 3 points. Training becomes a wee bit lighter this week. It becomes a wee bit more smiley. It becomes a wee bit more fresher. We know how players work. It's amazing what a result does. Now, listen, as far as that's concerned, and Neil McCann will be doing his job properly. That game's away. That last Saturday's done and dusted. But it sets you up for Saturday. It sets you up not to go and lose if they manage to get a point. Probably a tough one, because Kelly will come with a boy Brophy and Greg Stewart, who was previous Dundee player, proved to put a point to prove as well. He'll go and want to, perform in his old stamping ground. Good player, great left foot, cutting in for the right, looking to score every time he's got the ball. So it's going to be a big ask for Dundee to bounce back and bounce on again and get the result after Hamilton. But on the same side, you're expecting, especially the way Kelly are, to go and could win anywhere, really. You know what I mean? Killie are capable of beating anybody on their day. They've got, strong defenders.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well marshalled with Broadfoot. I like O'Donnell. Jordan Jones on the left, up front with the two boys I've mentioned. Mackenzie's on the bench. Midley Park, Dicker's done where Malumbu's left off. As Higgs says, Stevie Clarke has assembled a cracking squad, playing a good system, they're all fit. And Killie could go and win anywhere right now, and possibly for me that Dundee could have had an easier one at home. As much as they got the 3 points last Saturday, it was certainly a wee bit against the tide, and I still think Killie will come up and show a bit of quality, get the 3 points back down the road for me.
Higgs, I spoke to you earlier on in the week when Csaba Laszlo got punted and got your views on that, but generally at the moment it's not a great time to be a football fan in Dundee. I mean, what's the general feeling in the city at the moment?
Despondency, not a good time to be a Dundonian, whether you're a Dundee supporter or a United supporter. It's hard work this now, and really off the two managers, you would probably thought Neil McCann would have went, because obviously with the track record, but it's been the opposite number. So I'm really pleased for McCann, but I really feel for Csaba Laszlo as well, because the players have got to take a lot of responsibility, and we'll maybe go into that later on, but it was sheer capitulation last week with Dundee United and Ross County. So up in Dundee this now, it's not very good reading, because the only plus, if you're a Dundee supporter and a supporter as such, is that a victory against Hamilton last week, which was a big surprise and a pleasant surprise for Dundee supporters. But it's no good reading up here just now, but there's a wee glimmer of hope for the Dundee fans, and I just feel Kilmarnock are a side, they know what they're doing. From last year to this year, Stevie Clarke's just continued the trend, and they know what their job entails during the 90 minutes, because obviously they do it during the week in training. And see, when you know what you're doing as a player, players are creatures of habit, and when you know you're winning games and you're playing to a system that suits you, especially that suits you as a player and as a team, then you're going to go up to Dens tomorrow with a lot of confidence. But I just think, with the result last week that Neil got, I think they'll get a share of the spoils among guys. Yeah, they could do. Yeah, they, as I say, the bounce you would expect to be there. I still think Kilmarnock's got a wee bit too much quality.
Yeah, so do I, and I'll tell you why as well.
And pace, Bill.
I think Dundee are messy at the back. I really do. I think they're very uncomfortable at the back. If they're put under pressure, it worried me when I saw them playing. I've seen them playing a couple of weeks, and they seem to follow the ball. Aye. It's a wee bit. I'm not being funny, and I hope I don't want to. To sound disrespectful, because I'm not trying to
say schoolboy stuff.
Yes, it's a wee bit schoolboy. You see when the boys play at school, the ball goes in one direction, and
all the heads all going the one way. And
it's like the swarm follows the ball, and I think.
Remember, we used to be good at that, Higgs. Didn't remember that? With that swarm of players, 20 odd players in the one. But I know it's true. It's very true. It's a good point.
And I think Dundee are a bit like that at the minute at the back.
Swarm of bees, yeah.
Bill, I think you've hit the nail on the head, because see, tomorrow I think who defends the best will win the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go Killie 2-1.
Paul?
Well, I've nailed my colours to the mass in regards to result-wise. I think it'll be Dundee 1, Kilmarnock 1, guys.
There you go. I'm going 2-0 to Killie.
2-0 Killie, yeah.
I'm going 2-0 Killie. We'll take a break, boys. We'll come back. We'll talk more football on Rock Sport.
You know the feeling. You're at work and all of a sudden you fancy something, but you're not sure what. You go to the vending machine and nothing. It's empty. Sound all too familiar? Go Vending supply fully serviced vending machines to buy or lease, and that means fully serviced. Vending machines, water coolers and coffee machines are all available. Whatever your needs, wherever you are in central Scotland. Call Go Vending on 01294 279 9536 or visit our website govending.co and speak with the vending experts. Go Vending!
City Blinds and Shutters are Scotland's blind and shutter specialist, and your business can benefit too. From head offices to workshops, restaurants to studios, City Blinds and Shutters can make your commercial business stand out. Brighten up your office or your workspace. We can even print any logo or design to really catch the eye. Professionally designed and installed with free design and estimate. Call us on 0141 551 8785 or visit cityblindman.com. City Blinds and Shutters, not just for your home.
Seventh Heaven is Glasgow's premier lap dancing club for premier entertainment in premier surroundings and especially for you. Quote, I'm on the Rock Sport Radio guest list for free entry. Seventh Heaven, open 7 days from 9 p.m. until 3 a.m. Find us at 15 Elm Bank Gardens in Glasgow. See more at seventhheavenglasgow.co.uk.
Love music, live sport. Talking football with Bill Young, Hugh Burns and Paul Hegarty on Rock Sport Radio.
Okay, talking football for Friday, where we always look ahead to the fixtures. Yeah. And let me just remind you, you can listen to the programme every night, Monday to Friday, 6 till 8 p.m. on DAB Digital Radio, coast to coast across central Scotland. You can listen online at rocksportradio.co.uk. You can listen via your smartphone using the TuneIn app or the Radiogram app. You can watch the show using Twitter, Facebook and Periscope. You can also listen back, and I can tell you that we've had a considerable amount of downloads, over 100,000 downloads, where you can listen again using Podbean, using Google, using the website, our website, rocksport.co.uk, using Spotify, iTunes, and all the other usual.
I love the Podbean. It's magnificent. I love it. Anyway, just
you have no clue what Podbean is.
No, listen. I tell you what, I've got a clue about. I've got a wee bit of a clue about football, and I've had a really, really nasty message for a guy called Paul Milot. He'll probably. I hope he's listening. He's sometimes he's big dummy. There's a big pram shop down in Truncod Cowans, and I think he should really be jumping in the car and going down and ordering the biggest dummy that the shop can muster up for that big gob of his. I'll just read you a wee text that I got from there, and it's not very nice. We're all here to give opinions, eggs and what have you, and I'll take it in the chin like everybody else. Tavernier was ranked rotten against Aberdeen, Celtic and Livingston. Now, this is coming from Paul Milot, season ticket holder at Celtic Park. Comparing with Trippier, you cannot be serious. Is it Rock Sport or Rangers Radio? Monday will be a repeat of last week when Nazy haunts you. So I think that's great, because I've upset him. And it's a Friday night. And there's nothing better than upsetting a Celtic fan on a Friday night, because if they get pumped tomorrow, that's made my weekend.
If they get pumped tomorrow, it'll be a miracle, because they're playing Sunday.
Anyway, Milot, if you're listening, you tease it.
Playing tomorrow, though, we've got Hibs against Hamilton. Hibs have they've always looked good and they've looked strong this season, but they seem to have gone off the boil in terms of, convincingly putting people to the sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, last week result, what did they do last week? They won 1-0 at St Mirren, and I think by all accounts St Mirren would be bits of the game. I think, according to Lenny's report Monday and his quotes were, they dominated the game, just didn't finish St Mirren off. If you look at the situation with Hamilton, who'll be on a bit of a downer, the fact that he dominated Dundee and didn't win, sitting down there in 6 points, not a great bit of form at all. I think out of the last 5 games I've lost 4, won one of them. It's no great reading, and genuinely I don't think things will change tomorrow. I cannot again talk about quality. I mentioned the word quality. I think Hibs have got far better quality than Hamilton. I think we know that. There'll be a great atmosphere. Hibs will look to keep up the pressure on the Jambos. There was a great article the other day there in the paper. I think it was Big Henry and Jackie McNamara Senior were doing a great article in the paper. And it's great to see, isn't it?
Do you know what? I'll tell you what I like, though, or what the observation I was going to make. You've got Hibs sitting at the minute, right, in second place in the table, and they've not been as convincing as their play reflects. You know what I mean? They're not scoring as many goals as they should. They're creating loads of chances. They're overrunning teams, but they're not scoring a lot of goals. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to dig in and get that goal and go through. And that's where teams are successful by the end of the season when they do that. And Hibs have been doing that.
That's a sign of a good team.
Yeah, and Hibs have been doing it really successfully, Higgs.
Yeah. I think it's a very similar game to Aberdeen and St Mirren tomorrow. Two teams, especially Hibs haven't been firing all cylinders, but they're second in the league, and they've set standards over the last 18 months under Neil Lennon, and anything short of, playing fantastic football and getting the ball in the box and scoring goals, then people start to moan. That's the road that Neil's made for his own back, because his team been exciting over the last 18 months, and sometimes you've got to give the opposition a bit of credit, because they know when they're playing against a team like Hibs with a bit of flair in the middle and up top, that they've got to defend better, they've got to get back in numbers better, got to get back in numbers quicker, so that they can try and nullify Hibs and the middle and strikers. And I think that's a compliment. It should be a compliment to Hibs and obviously to Neil Lennon. But I just think it's very similar to the Aberdeen St Mirren game. Two teams like St Mirren, and obviously we're talking about Hamilton now, and Hughes mentioned, 4 defeats and 1 win in the last 5 games for Hamilton. I think it'll be a real toughie, because Hibs have won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. To me, that's good form. It's decent form. What Hibs have got to do, and I'm sure they will do, is play with a bit of panache tomorrow, like what I've done for the last year and a bit. And I think they'll play with a real cutting edge against a Hamilton team who said 2 minutes ago in regards to the Dundee, they must be sort of scratching their heads as well, no picking up something at home against a Dundee team that obviously was toiling. I just think Hibs will have too much power all over the park for Hamilton tomorrow.
Yeah, Higgs, give us your numbers. What are you thinking?
Sorry, Hugh. I think I'm going to go again, just like the Aberdeen result, 3-0 Hibs.
Well, I'm going to go one more, because I think somebody's going to get a hinding off Hibs one of these days, and I think tomorrow it will be. I think Hamilton having a hangover for last Saturday, thinking the world's against us. But again, as you say, the Hibs have dominated a lot of games this season, but particularly in that cup game as well, when they absolutely hammered Aberdeen, couldn't get through, lost some penalties, sore one to take. They would have desperately want to get to that cup final in November. So I think they've got to look at it over the last 3 weeks. They're the form team. They've won their last 3 games. Even the leaders have been dropping the point against Livingston the week previous. So I think for me, definitely Hibs to win 3-4-0. I'll put my neck out 4-0.
Obviously Hibs are where they are at the minute. Hearts are where they are at the minute. I'm not suggesting that they won't be there at the end of the season, but it's unlikely.
Well, it's great to see, isn't it?
It's
what a difference,
Look, you look at the top 4 teams. Hearts at the top, unbeaten. You've got Hibs next, Livy next, and then Kilmarnock.
Yes.
And I think that's good for our game. I really do think that's good for our game.
After 7
what
games.
I was going to ask you both is, how many of that top 4 do you think will still be near the top 4, top 5, top 6 come the end of the season?
Well, I think Hearts will be an absolute shoe-in. The fact at the start they've had, the momentum they've got, the players that have got, the strength they've got. I think Hibs will always be there with the quality they've got. I think Kelly, with the way Clark's got them playing, and you'd expect Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen to be pushing just the 3 that I've mentioned, and I think the only dropout I think through time will obviously be Livingston. I can't see them continuing. They're great. They might continue and give us all a custard pie. We don't know how that's going to pan out, but I think really your top 6 are going to be Celtic, Rangers, Kelly, Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen. That is a shoe-in right
Well,
now.
I'm going to stick my neck out, because I think Kelly, Hibs and Hearts, wherever they finish in the top 6, will finish above Aberdeen.
Well, I think I did say Aberdeen 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I think Aberdeen,
this could be their season of a real toil.
I think Aberdeen, unless in the window in January they can bring in somebody else who can score goals.
Well, there's another one.
I think they're going to struggle to score goals.
As much as we've said, have Celtic shown disrespect to Rangers, the fact that they didn't strengthen in the summer? Has Aberdeen showed maybe a wee bit disrespect to the league as well in the summer? The fact that they've no added any
maybe what you did though earlier on in the week, you hit it on the head. The money's gone on the new stadium. That's
his budget's dry.
Yeah, and maybe it's one of those things where they're going to have to take a wee bit of pain this season.
Well, they maybe need
but I
to.
can see them having to.
Yeah.
This season. What's your thoughts on that, Paul?
Well, what I'm going to say is I think like the league is now, I think it's so refreshing because see if you're a neutral, even if you're out with the Old Firm and likes of the Hearts and Hibs, you say to yourself, what a league this now, because you've got Livingston and Kilmarnock in between the Old Firm and the two Edinburgh clubs. I must admit, I'm in agreement with yourselves. I think what you've said about the top six will be the Old Firm, the two Edinburgh clubs. I think Kilmarnock are set in their ways. I just think they're strong, resilient. Stevie Clark, as I say, can't do any wrong. And I think Aberdeen eventually will come with decent form. And probably you would think Livingston. I hope I'm wrong because, as I say, it's for football to see, a disruption in the league, because that's what it is. Because no one could have predicted, at this moment in time, the league. You would have thought Celtic, Rangers, or maybe an Aberdeen, being in the top three. They're not even in the top three.
Yeah.
So that is a shock. But it's nice for Scottish football to be like that. But it'll not be like that at the end of the season. There's no way. As I said on numerous occasions, it's a marathon. It's no a sprint, the league. And I just think at this moment in time, being a neutral, seeing these clubs doing ever so well, and I'm talking about like the Livingstons and the Kilmarnocks, it's music to my ears.
I'm going to go 3-1 for Hibs.
3-1 Hibs.
Yeah, you've gone for the
3-1 Hibs.
Yeah, I'm going for that. Let's move on to Sunday, because of Europa League last night. You spoke to us about Rangers in the Europa League, Paul. Before we move on to the two weekend fixtures, I'll give you a chance to give us your view on the Celtic game last night. A goal up after 2 minutes, and then they seemed to just melt back into their own half. The point that I made to Hugh at the top of the show that you wouldn't have heard is that I don't understand why Celtic went back so deep, because what it does is it invites pressure onto the area that they feel they're weakest in all this season, which is their defence.
Well, it's all right going back deeper, Bill, and defending correctly if you've got good defenders, but that's the problem with Celtic over the last wee while. They've always cried out for a strong, resilient, demanding centre-backs, and we've not really got that, or they've not really got that. So, it puts added pressure on Craig Gordon if your defence goes further and further back, and that's what's happened. In our time when you played, you knew what your job was. You were very good footballers, defensive footballers I'm talking about. Then you could allow the midfield, the Bannons, the Millans, the Sturrocks, the Dodds to create and craft and score goals and catch opposition on the break. And that's why Dundee United did ever so well in Europe, because we played the sort of European style, suck them in, catch them on the break, and then score a goal. And then the opposition were floored, they were flummoxed, and they couldn't get back. Celtic are not that good defensively. From middle to front, this year they've been ordinary. They've chopped and changed, and they haven't, as Hugh said and rightly said, they haven't strengthened their squad in any shape or form. They've got the guy from Kilmarnock, and obviously I can't pronounce his name.
Malumbu.
It's Malumbu. He can't, I can't see him playing too many games for Celtic over the course of the season, and it's a shame because you're hoping that Celtic are going to get better players and obviously do well in Europe, but losing to Salzburg last night, who are a decent side, who spend a lot of money on their players, and probably the annoying thing is scoring early on instead of maybe keeping what they've got for the first 10 or 15 minutes and then see how the game develops. They've been put in the back foot, guys, all the time, and when you've got defenders who should do better, but in Europe it's a different kettle of fish. They succumbed to it and lost probably comfortably 3-1 in the end to Salzburg.
Heggs, we watched the boy Jack Henry. Bill and I spoke about it just before you came on.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, obviously, the player you were at the centre back role. Hand in heart, did you actually think he is or is good enough to get better there and stay in the first team?
Well, he went from Dundee to Celtic, and I had seen him a couple of times with Dundee, and he was all right.
Right.
Now, when you go to Celtic or Rangers, as you well know, you can't be all right.
You've got to be better than all right.
You've got to be excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because not only have you got to be a good player playing for the Old Firm, and I think more importantly, when you're going to the Old Firm, I think you've got, and there's a lot of players that go to the Old Firm and can't handle it because they're not mentally strong.
Sure.
Because it's all right when you're playing in a winning Rangers or Celtic team, but see when you're not playing particularly well, and the punters, whether it's the Parkhead punters or the Ibrox punters, on your back as a player, can you handle it? Because see if you can't handle it, you won't be there that long, whether it's at Ibrox or Parkhead.
And then Higgs, sorry Higgs, just get a minute when it's in my mind here. See the amount of players, Bill, you see that get a move and they go, I didn't get a chance. This boy can't say he's not getting a chance.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He's getting a chance. He's getting a chance because it's been well documented, Paul, that Celtic are struggling for even Van Dijk left and not being able to fill the two centre backs. For all the carry on that's been going on with Dedrick Boyata, then there's another opportunity. For Ajer being out injured, there's an opportunity. Compare, I don't know where he is right now, but he's getting money and no playing. So there is an opportunity for a young guy that they've played Dundee and alleged £1 million for, right? Allegedly £1 million. So this boy must be showing something in the Dundee team for Celtic to take him. There's your opportunity. Go in. And if anything...
But Hugh, is he shining in a defence which is not that great anyway? Because we've spoken about Dundee defensively.
Yeah.
And you've both made a very good point. It's all right being, all right in a Dundee team which is reasonably poor at the back, but all right isn't good enough for Rangers or Celtic, as you both said.
Well, of course it is. And then if you're coming in, and I don't know if Higgs would agree with this or not, this is just my thought, that if you're coming in a big wholehearted centre half, right, if you're in there and you're plugging the gap and you're looking the part to an extent that you're winning headers, you're not doing anything silly.
You've won a watch.
Kamikaze. You're getting a bit of time, I think, to go in and bed yourself in there.
Right.
Where you're not asked to get on the end of corners. You're not asked to go and score goals. You're asked to do the job that they seen when you were doing with Dundee. Yeah. Because if he hadn't been doing well with Dundee, he wouldn't be at Celtic Park. So he's been given an opportunity. I don't think he's that bad a player. Technically, I think he's very good with the ball at his feet. But then again, as Higgs said, he's there to defend, and he's not defending properly, and that's what he's got to do.
What I would say is, right, I might be wrong in this one, but the Jack Henry, right, he's a reasonable player, but I think at this moment in time he needs somebody alongside him to show him the ropes. And now that sounds strange.
Yeah.
He shouldn't show him the ropes, but he needs somebody going to be vocal, who's going to pull the strings and tell me go here, tell me go there. I don't see that at the moment.
Well, I don't think Boyata's
looking after himself as well.
Of course he is. Boyata's looking after himself. Maybe the window opens again. You've never... Have we come out and read in the papers, Boyata, a big exclusive, I want to stay at Celtic, for all that happened? No, we've no. Well, it's been very, very quiet.
For a big boy, I think the boy Henry gets shifted off the ball too easily.
But it's up to him to stay in the team and do the business.
I agree with you.
He cannot...
I agree with you, but he's not taking this chance.
He's not taking the chance. I agree with Paul that he could be playing with a big experienced centre-back who you would have thought that would have been hand in hand as a Celtic centre-back. Has been there a while. He knows the ropes. He's brought in a young boy to play along with him, then great. But that centre-back rock partnership ain't there. It's not been there for a long time. So the big boys come in and he's getting no help.
Paul, you're getting a wee bit of stick here on the old Twitter. Somebody sent in, good old Paul can't pronounce Malumbu. I bet if it was a whiskey brand he'd not belong in being able to pronounce it.
Oh, very good.
People
a belly buster from that guy. Yeah. What I would say is Malumbu, right? He's a Celtic player.
Aye.
Why have Celtic got him? Are they going to, he'll be lucky if he plays 10 games this season, 15 games, because Celtic standards are high, and they've got to be higher than that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Here's another wee quick one, boys. I don't want to dwell on this one, but I don't want people to take the time and be kind enough to get in touch with us and ignore them. Having the table this way is a blessing and a curse. It's great to see new teams at the top, but if and it's a big if, the table ends without either Rangers or Celtic in Europe, our coefficient will drop, as I don't see other teams doing as well in Europe, which is a fair point.
Well, I
agree with that. I agree with that. Can you see Celtic and Rangers? They've been in the top 4.
Personally, no.
Well, I think he's been at the boozer. He must be tweeting that for the boozer.
No, I think it's almost rhetorical.
Well, it is rhetorical. But
Rangers against Hearts.
Back to the Jack Henry one, guys. Just briefly, Jack Henry needs an experienced kind of. I'm going to repeat myself. He needs a helping hand at this moment in time.
Yeah,
because see, when you're not playing particularly well as a youngster, that's where you're looking for somebody just to sort of guide you on your way. Because I think in general, he's a decent player. But Bill, you said an interesting thing that he gets caught in the ball too often, right? I totally agree with you, because he's got to get his head up quicker and move his feet and move the ball quicker. Because see, when you're playing at a higher level, i.e. Europe, that's when you get found out big time, because you've only got a split second. Because see, if you've not got the gumption to and the sort of look about you, see, predators you're playing against, they'll nail you, and that's where you lose goals galore.
Paul, although we said the boy Worrell for Rangers last night had a very, very good game by comparison to what he had at the weekend, one of the things I said to Hugh that I had a concern of, he's not played at that standard in Europe. He's not played at the kind of pace that we play domestically in Scotland, and there was a couple of times he almost got his pocket picked last night, and they've got to get used to playing in that position, but knowing that they haven't got the time that they think they had.
Well, see, I'm a great believer, Bill, right? See, when you're playing the highest level and you're playing against better players than yourself, you as a player have got to keep it simple. And that means you play to your strengths and you hide your weaknesses. That means that if you're strong in the air, you use to the advantage. If you're weak on your left, which I was, what I did immediately was I transferred the ball from my left to my right immediately. End of story, irrespective of what position I was. And if I was on my left and I was under pressure, I would just clear it out for a throw-in or for a corner kick and reorganise. See, at the highest level against better players, you've got to do things sharper and you've got to do things simpler. And see, when you do things simpler and you give it to one of your colleagues, you actually look a better player. But they all want to complicate matters. They want to take an extra touch. They want to look good on the ball. And what happens is they look good on the ball and they get caught, they get robbed, and you lose a goal. And I'm talking defensively.
Yeah, but a lot of it's not down to them necessarily. A lot of it can be down to the coaches and the managers by having this ethos of playing the ball out from the back.
See, the ethos of playing the ball out is great if you've got people looking for the ball. See, when you're playing against players that are of lesser ability alongside you, they'll not look for the ball. I've never seen a ball travel through a colleague yet. See, if the player in your team doesn't make an angle, Bill, then you'll never get the ball.
No, Heggs, I agree with you. I'm just saying that, you know what coaches are like these days? We want to play it out from the back, including the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm. You watch it, week in, week out.
You know what I'm like with that, guys. Just let goalkeepers save the ball. Didn't punch balls if you've got a chance to save it. Defenders defend. Defenders get goal side. Give good cover on your fellow colleagues. And it's simple. It is simple. The easiest thing is to defend. The hardest thing is to create, i.e. midfield strikers. That's why strikers get paid loads of money, because that's the hardest thing to do, is score goals. It's easy to defend.
It's quite funny, Bill, because when I used to watch that sports scene on a Saturday night, and it used to be Arts McPherson commentating and Hegarty. Oh, Hegarty's trying to get it from his left. He's right. Hegarty's lost the ball. It's 1-0 Rangers.
That was a normal one. 1-0 Rangers. Brilliant.
Listen, Rangers have got another stern test. The league leaders come to Ibrox on Sunday. They've obviously got now a level that they've set in the second half that Steven Gerrard will be telling them that's what you've got to play against his Hearts team. Mm-hmm. We'll start with you, Hugh.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Looking forward to it. Jambos, I believe, will bring a big crowd. I think they're bringing possibly about 3,500 through, so that end will be, that corner should be electric with the Jambos. a great set of fans, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's a stern test. But it's a stern test for Hearts as well. It's probably their biggest test, Bill. I know that they've had some decent games and played well here, especially beating Celtic at home so early in the season when Lafferty was still there. But I just think that Sunday's a big test for both clubs. I think I still fancy Rangers, as you know I would anyway. I still think Rangers on the day have got better players than Hearts, but the Rangers must battle. They must defend their own corner. They go head to head whoever they're playing with and go, I'm going to play and I'm going to match you in every department. Craig will bring his team through. They'll be well organised. They're at the top of the league. They've got a wee gap there. They've got a chance of kicking on again. I think they would grab a point right now, but I genuinely think they've got the right man in charge. They've got the, Ann Budge putting the money in. Everything's good. They've moved to their stadium. It's a fortress. They're not losing games there. They're not losing a lot of goals. And I think on the road as well, they've proved that they can pick up points. So right now, on the back of Rangers win, on the back of Hibs what Hearts are doing and can do, I tell you what, it's a real mouth-watering game for me on Sunday.
Do you see Gerrard making many changes?
Yeah, I think Lafferty will play. I don't know if Morelos will start, depending on his fitness. He might just be a bit tired from Thursday night, from last night. Yeah, it depends who he's got available. Will he bring in Katic instead of Worrell? Possibly. Will he bring Barisic back instead of Flanagan? He possibly could. He's left Tavernier out before, played Flanagan to bring Barisic back, kept Tav on the bench. He did that before as well. So
surely you wouldn't do that against the league leaders.
You never know. I think the Rangers fans will turn up and expect to win the game, but regardless where they are, because I believe Rangers, and I've said before, you'll get the excuses from me, but I think I've got real good lines for the defence on the reason where we are. I think they'll get better league position, and I think it will start on Sunday.
Okay, Heggs?
It's a hard one to call, really, because Hearts are the form team, and I go back to 30 goals for and 3 against. 3 goals lost in 7 games. That is it's an excellent record. My biggest thought is, what a dilemma Stevie Gerrard is. He's probably thinking, how can he do so well, Hugh, in Europe, but the form is poor in the league. Really poor form, isn't it?
It's not poor, Paul. It's not poor.
11 points. 21.
Yeah, it's not poor.
It's poor.
No, it's.
Would you be happy with that?
I would say it should be better. I think the Celtic game they didn't.
I think it should be better.
Yeah, it should be better, but I don't think it's poor. I think the Celtic game, rabbit in the headlights, 6 players make their debut, put it to the side, and deal with them when they come to Ibrox in December. And the other 3 excuses I've gave you for. And I think they are genuine. Aberdeen, we should have won. Goalie's got to come for the third at Motherwell, and we didn't perform last Sunday. So I think when he looks at it, I think he'll see where we went wrong in them. But worse, Paul, if you couldn't actually look at it and go, where did we go wrong there? I think you look at that, I didn't think the choice here. The team was right against Celtic. I think you knew that. I think we left ourselves open. We really did, Bill, in the Celtic game. Last week, didn't play in the pitch. In the 2 games I spoke about, Aberdeen, Motherwell. Rangers are better than what their league form suggests.
But at the end of last season, we said, this season, those are the games Rangers have got to win. Because the Old Firm games could go either way if things happen. And they haven't won those games.
Yeah, I know. But that's where it leaves you open, that you then got to go and beat Celtic when the big games come up, that you've no won those so-called smaller games. They're not only small games, but there's games where you're expecting Rangers to win. There's going to be, I do firmly believe that Rangers are well capable of going on a real good run. I really do.
I'm not really having a problem with Rangers, because I'm going to say the same thing about Celtic. By their standards, 13 points isn't good out of 21 points. You know what I mean? Celtic and Rangers are usually where Hearts are. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally agree.
And normally that is the case, but at this moment in time it isn't, and that's because I think sometimes at this moment in time Rangers come alive when it comes to European big nights, but see when it comes to the bread and butter games, maybe the players have got to take a look at themselves and say, well, why picked up the 3 points against Livingston. You can say, well, the surface isn't that clever, blah blah blah. The Aberdeen Morales got sent off after 10 minutes, which I agree, and Aberdeen were fairly fortunate to pick up the point. But by standards of the Old Firm, it's got to be better.
Yeah.
But I think there's very little hue between the two teams tomorrow, and I just think, and I'm no bucking the trend, but I just think home advantage is massive tomorrow. I think Hearts will go there, not with gay abandon, but play with a lot of confidence, and they'll look as if they're at the top of league club. I think again it's going to depend on who defends the best tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Sunday, Higgs, the game Sunday.
Sorry, Hugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sunday,
I thought you were saying tomorrow, but
I did say tomorrow. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it's fine, but I just think that it's a game that Rangers are more than capable of winning. There's no doubt about it. I think Hearts will give Rangers a game. That there is no doubt. They're not up there. Nobody just came and suddenly put the points in their lap. They've earned the right to be there, and they've earned the right to go and be competitive on Sunday. And I just think when it comes to it, I tell you what, if Hearts leave Ibrox on Sunday with a victory, I think a lot of people will sit and stand up and go, hey, and sit up and go, hey, listen, they might just be a challenge here. They might just be on the road to something a wee bit different. Who would have thought Leicester would have won the league years ago, 2 or 3 years back? Who would have thought maybe the way Watford have started down south? Teams get better. Teams get better. Their time comes as well when that wee bit of luck, and they get the fixtures all come out the right way, and they get a wee run and get a wee head of steam and get the confidence going. But it'll be it'll be full house, 50 plus.
We're running out of time, so give me a prediction score wise.
I'm going to go Rangers 2-0.
Paul?
I'm going to go 2 Rangers. They'll just shade it tomorrow.
Sorry, say that again because you broke up a wee bit.
2-1 Rangers, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 Rangers as well. Mm-hmm. So it looks like there's a clean sweep for Rangers, at least with us. Mm-hmm. Celtic, of course, now going to McDermott Park on Sunday as well. They've got a 3:30 kick-off against St Johnstone. You can start this one, Higgs.
Mixed form for Celtic, inconsistent throughout the season. The last 3 games, won against Aberdeen, lost to Kilmarnock, and lost to Salzburg, and that's very unlike Celtic. And you can see the signs on the park that things are not going particularly well. But this is a sign of a good team to have to bounce back, because it's all right when things are going well and you're winning games comfortably, which Celtic have been doing over the last couple of seasons. Now they've got a bit of a problem. Teams are starting to suss them out. Teams are starting to get at them. They've got to handle it a bit better, and I'm sure Brendan's trying everything in his power to try and rectify that. Going to a team on Sunday against St Johnstone, patchy by their standards. I must admit, I thought would have done better because they hadn't been in Europe this season, but Tommy Rice picked up 8 points from 7 games. Tommy's last 2 games lost well beat to Rangers 5-1, and obviously losing to Hearts 2-1. So he's had 3 difficult fixtures, which is Rangers, Hearts, and obviously Celtic on Sunday. And I don't think Tommy will get any share of the spoils on Sunday against a team that needs to win, and needs to win convincingly.
Yeah, I think it's a big ask to come back for getting absolute doing, let's be honest, in Europe. But St Johnstone have stuttered the last couple of weeks, haven't they? A good start.
Are you saying that if you're going to have to come back from that kind of position midweek, that this is probably one of the better fixtures you could have hoped to face?
I would think so. Celtic enjoy the surface up there. They take a great crowd, there'll be a great atmosphere that'll be full of Celtic fans, and that'll be like a home game to them, because St Johnstone just don't turn out, and then it's shocking where they are that they've got that, but it ain't going to get any better, so it doesn't help the home team. But Tommy had a good start. They've kind of stuttered. I think they should, there was a wee bit disappointed, I think, at Hearts last week. He said they didn't start playing till they went 2 down, and suddenly they started getting into the game a little bit. He's chopped and changed it with Watt and Kennedy. They've got some decent players that he's brought in, but again, you would look at, if Celtic can't go and win at St Johnstone, then there's serious problems. St Johnstone are always capable of a shock on the day, there's no doubt. Home advantage will help them, but you would think Celtic too strong. Regardless what happened on Thursday, Celtic will prepare properly, they'll go, they'll win the game, and as a scoreline, I would think Celtic maybe win 3-1.
Paul?
I think it'll just be tight, but I think Celtic will win 2-1, guys.
Okay, I think Celtic will win 2-0, if I'm absolutely honest.
Okay.
A couple of wee bits to ask you very quickly on these ones, because we've literally got about 4.5 minutes. If Rangers do beat Hearts, and this is a tweet, would that be the start of free fall for Hearts? In my opinion, no.
No, I wouldn't think so. They'd be disappointed, obviously, coming away if they lose the game. But I think the fact that they've got 19 points, dropped 2 out of possible 21,
I think
is a phenomenal start.
Character.
Sorry?
I think Hearts have shown a lot of character this season.
Yeah, I think they have. He's recruited big, strong, intimidating players. Keep thinking, as Higgs said, the record defensively, is fantastic. That gives everybody in the team a lift. If they're no losing goals, they've got the goalie on the top of his game, then they can go anywhere and compete. And I think that's what the word compete is. If you've got a team that compete, Bill, you've got a chance, for me.
I just think as well, even if they do get beat on Sunday, I just feel, you're going to lose games throughout the season. I know that Celtic, had a spell which is very, very unusual, but normally you lose 3 or 4 games during the season to be championship contenders. If they lose on Sunday, it's not going to hurt them, but what it does do is it gives Hibs, they'll get a result on Saturday, then it sort of tightens up the league a bit. Then you see the Celtic and Rangers starting to hone in, and the Livingstons and the Kilmarnocks, and that's when there's a bit of pressure on you. But no, I don't see that a problem. I think when you play the Old Firm, the pressure's on them, especially at this moment in time, because Hearts are top of the league and looking so well.
But you do expect, if you're playing the Old Firm and you're any team, whether they're playing well or not at this point, when you go to play Rangers and Celtic, they're going to be potentially your biggest tests of the season anyway.
Oh, they are big tests, no doubt about that, Bill, yeah. But like everything else, everyone's probably expecting Rangers to win. Hearts supporters and Hearts players will be expected to win. They'll hope to have something up their sleeve to sort of derail Rangers. But like everything else, you go there and full of confidence, but he was just probably shade Rangers because they're playing in front of their home crowd. If Hearts keep them nice and tight the first 20-25 minutes, then that could be a problem for the Rangers players, because then obviously the fans are maybe a wee bit restless and maybe get on their backs.
I think it's interesting, Rick, getting into, after 7 games, they've got a 5-point cushion already. I know it's a cushion, as Higgs said.
Yeah.
They're going to lose on Sunday, they're still going to be top of the league, regardless what, and run about them does. Hibs will win on Saturday, so the gap will be narrowed going into Sunday. But what a great incentive that is. Listen, they'll not be thinking about going to lose, but they know they're still going to be tops on Sunday night, which is, where defeat at Ibrox are usually, just kind of hanging on to the coattails of the top 6 anyway. But to be where they are, they must be obviously getting a lift for where they are going into the game. Confidence just breeds confidence. It gets players doing things that they maybe no do if they were struggling, Bill, and getting to really, really, just get in about the game and try things that they're comfortable doing because their team are up there. So, it's a big game. I'm looking forward to it. The full house, another full house. Full house. It's like a game of bingo.
Bob's Full House.
Boys,
thank
you very
weekend,
much.
And enjoy your weekends. Thanks, Higgs. See you. You'll be back with us on Monday. I need to find somebody, a sparring partner for you. I'm not sure who I'll get for that.
Love music. Live sport. Talking Football with Bill Young, Hugh Burns and Paul Hegarty on Rock Sport Radio.